Hey guys, Michael here, just kind of hanging out and was working on a short story that I'm writing and just thought it'd be fun to maybe read a little bit of it to you guys and see what you think, get you excited for it, hopefully. Really, I'm just kind of bored and thought I'd do something for fun. So I'm going to read you a little bit of a story tentatively called The Bad Thing Comes at Night. And I'm going to read you just a little section that is near the beginning of the story and see what you guys think. So here we go. The Dawsons' house sat unassumingly among the others in the upper middle-class neighborhood of Barrington. Positioned just outside the city limits, Barrington was your typical hard-working, white-collar American dream. 2- and 3-story brick or stone mini-mansions boasting 4,000 and 5,000 square feet of well-furnished living space. German cars resting inside the 3-car garages. In-ground swimming pools, now closed and covered for the year, dotted most of the backyards. And the expensive deck furniture and trailer-sized Weber grills that dressed the backyards would soon start to see reduced usage as the fall weather bled into winter. Then tall, broad-shouldered husbands would cover the grills and use powerful arms to store the furniture in basements or in attic storage spaces. Barrington was the type of neighborhood where in 2 weeks' time, others, those further away from than closer to six-figure salaries, would bring their kids to trick or treat. And while the kids would marvel over how much candy, good candy too, not the cheap dollar store stuff, they received, the parents would steal glances inside the open front doors and try to memorize decorating ideas, which they'd then be forced to try and replicate with trips to Target instead of Pottery Barn or Crate and Barrel. And by the time they'd walk back down the driveway, they would have already had to convince themselves that they were thankful for what they had and shouldn't be envious. Then they'd get to the next house and have to start the process all over again. On this chillier than normal Tuesday in October, the sun rolled in and out of view from behind the sky blanketed with gray clouds. On Chestnut Street, a lawn crew was just finishing up what might be the Andersons' last cut of the year. Mary Anderson and her friend Susan D'Angelo were taking their daily walk around the neighborhood, dressed in color-coordinated athletic wear which showed off their trim and fit physiques, pumping their arms as they laughed and gossiped and slipped further and further away from any remembrance of what the word stress actually meant for most Americans. Somewhere on Magnolia Lane, a dog barked. The mailman, Harry Lehman, had finally switched over to wearing his slacks instead of shorts as he strolled, almost casually, among the sidewalks and dropped fundraiser invitations and university alumni letters in the mailboxes. In a few hours' time, the school buses would arrive, depositing future university alumni back to their suburban paradise, where they quickly breezed through their homework and before playing their newest video games or talking on their newest cell phones, until it was time for a nice, wholesome family dinner. The kind where everybody was in attendance, and when the question, "How was your day?" was asked, nobody minded having to answer. Everything looked normal in Barrington this Tuesday. But if you looked closer, if you stopped for a moment and stared straight through the outer layer of perfection, you might notice something a little different, a little blemished. You might notice that one house, the one on the corner of Chestnut and Maplewood, with the chimney and the gazebo in the backyard, still had the pool open, the water a murky greenish blue that was full of dead leaves and a few twigs. You might notice that the yard was a little unkempt, the grass about 2 weeks overdue for a trim, and a sidewalk needing to be swept. After the mail hadn't been removed from the box in over a week, Harry Lehman had bundled it all with a big rubber band and set it on the front porch, where it still sat, untouched, along with nearly a dozen copies of the New York Times. If you asked the neighbors, they might tell you that they hadn't remembered seeing the black Mercedes or the white BMW leave the garage in at least 3 or 4 days. They might tell you that somebody should probably go over and check and see if Rebecca and Eric Dawson were okay. Well, that's all I'm going to give you right now. I know it wasn't a lot, but just wanted to give you a little taste of it. And this is a pretty early rough draft, so some of this might change. Some of it might get better. Some of it might go away altogether. But just wanted to give you a little teaser, I guess. So y'all have a lovely evening, and I'll chat with you next time.